Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. If you're spending Thanksgiving alone, pretend you're hanging out with me and I just made you a turkey sandwich. I know this seems a bit unusual on Thanksgiving, but a turkey sandwich and a pickle is about as good as it gets, at least in my world. If you want to get fancy, you can toast it, heat up the turkey, melt some cheese over it. Or, instead of sliced turkey, chop it up, mix it with mayo, mustard, pickles, hot sauce, and make a sandwich with it. I am still eating a pack of nuts I got yesterday for donating blood. I donate blood just so I can get t-shirts to virtue signal that I donated blood. It used to be just blood, but sometimes it's plasma. They asked, hey, can you donate double platelets today? I said, sure, I don't know what that means, but go ahead, Dracula. I was wearing a Trump shirt before I went, and I changed out of it because I didn't want them to accidentally take all my blood. Oops, we just murdered another Trump voter. Better make room on the pile with the other bodies. So pretend you're sharing Thanksgiving with me. What would happen is, as I walk through the kitchen, I break up a dog fight, get bit, walk to the dining room, pass a little dog on the floor who bites me. Then I sit down, have a dog jump in my lap with a dog on the floor, begging for food. They can't decide if they should bite each other, so they bite me instead. I escape to the other room to smoke a J and watch the world's oldest cat, who thankfully is too old to bite me. But I can tell that he is thinking about it. I changed the Wi-Fi password to Trump 2020, so you know how that works out. Just kidding, guys. Politics come and go. Your family and friends are way more important than silly elections. But Trump is a Nazi. Probably not. But if he is, just vote him out in 2020. Problem solved. In a few years, people are going to look back at the friends they lost over an election and feel ashamed of their childish behavior. Maturity is realizing that reasonable adults may disagree without being disagreeable. But really, why argue with people who have supported you when you needed it? Save your arguments for Twitter, where ticking off total strangers is acceptable behavior. Oh, I wanted to say, if you're selling your comics on a live stream, here's some rules I came up with you. Just my 2 cents. Be energetic. Be positive. Don't talk badly about anyone else involved in Comicsgate who was involved in Comicsgate. You have no idea who your audience is. If you're talking about, someone brings up Ethan Van Sciver or Mike Miller or Edwin Boyette or all these other guys who are arguing with each other over some juvenile bullshit, you don't know who's listening. So you want to say, oh yeah, they seem like nice guys to me, or I don't know much about that, or I don't really worry about that kind of thing. Just don't comment, oh, this guy's a total asshole. Well, people who are listening might like that guy, and they might people who are listening to Comicsgate see these guys arguing, and they like EVS and Mike Miller because they're both pretty good artists who write fun books. So energetic, positive, don't talk shit. And then the fourth rule is be positive. It's that important that you really do not want to go into a live stream as a negative Nancy. You got to be artificially positive. So you might want to kind of practice how you're going to bring up certain topics and walk yourself through it before you go on a live stream. You want to be positive. You're not selling a comic, you're selling yourself. And people like it when people are they're positive and happy about their experience. I mean, even if you're bringing up something difficult, like, yeah, I had Antonio Bryce is talking about, he had a hard time getting his first 2 campaigns off the ground. He tried Indiegogo, then Kickstarter, and then he, bumped into Mike Miller, and who got him hooked up with Ethan, and he finally got the campaign off the ground. But he wasn't blaming anyone for having a hard time with the campaign. He was laughing about it. Oh yeah, and I did the first campaign, I got $90, and that just wasn't going to do it. Probably lost money in the deal. Second campaign, a couple $100, again lost money. And then he wasn't saying, oh yeah, these guys didn't support me. No, you do not want to say that. You gotta make people feel good and laugh about it. And you're probably thinking, Bianca, you're a total asshole. Yeah, but I'm not selling anything. So this is just the things I've observed over a few years of live streaming and Comicsgate and how to sell. You're selling yourself. You're not selling a book. Okay, I hit play on this guy's video, and it's a black screen, so you probably want to work on that one. I will talk about this in a minute. I also want to take a look at The Crone. It's a comic book that came out. But first, I want to take a quick look at, I saw this stuff coming up, Toxic Fandom and the Fandom Menace. How the heck can a fandom be toxic? The fans have the money. Give the fans what they will pay for. I didn't say give them what they say they want. Give them what they will pay for. Those are 2 different things. Because people say they want feminist Terminator, Ghostbusters, Charlie's Angels, etc., but they won't pay for them. They claim to want them, but that's just a virtue signal. They won't actually go see Catgirl, Supergirl, and all the rest. I haven't even watched some of those. They look so bad. I saw Captain Marvel. I thought it was boring. Then I saw the latest X-Men. I couldn't even finish it. That never happens to me. I love bad movies. I think I prefer a movie that is so bad it's good. Anyone can make a good movie, but really bad movies and great movies are pretty rare. Movie 43 doesn't come along every day. Stuff like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi are just boringly bad because they never tried to be good. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but they were made with an agenda. It's difficult to combine good storytelling and propaganda. You have to be subtle, and these people making movies and comics now just cannot do that. To be fair, it might be because their American audience has a lower IQ now than it did, say, 20 years ago. American movies now have to be simplified because a third of the American audience isn't that familiar with English. And of course, there's the Chinese audience, and stuff gets lost in the translation. So the film concepts have to be dumbed down. And maybe that's not the right phrase, but you know what I mean. The idea that someone selling a product would call customers toxic is insane. So why are they doing that? I'm not exactly sure. It might be that they know their movies suck and are attempting to get more butts into seats by throwing gas on the fire. It gets some free advertisements for the movies. They might also get some sympathy money from SJWs. When Big Nose Abrams calls out a toxic fandom, he might be trying to virtue signal SJWs so they decide to own the shitlords by going to see their movie. So far, this unusual method of selling hasn't worked. Charlie's Angels was a woke feminist film starring 3 lesbians. It bombed. Maybe in 10 years it'll make its money back in streaming sales, but probably not. Another reason it sounds crazy is that these insane people actually believe this nonsense. They seem to think that anyone to the right of Mao and Stalin are Nazis. And for many of them, Rian Roundhead and Big Nose Abrams, they are wealthy enough not to care if they lose money on the back end. Even film companies are willing to lose money for the sake of propaganda. While it's true that Hollywood loves money, they also love propaganda. Their motivations are different from normal businesses because so many of them are globalists. Money is a tool to them, but a propaganda film, even one that loses money, has value to them. People in Hollywood and the idiots in comics fear Comicsgate and the Fandom Menace because they don't want feedback. They want your money while they spoon-feed you socialist propaganda. They view the customer as a necessary evil. These are the most elitist people on earth. They really do believe that they're your superiors, which is funny because Hollywood is a bunch of filthy degenerates like Epstein and Weinstein and all the others who got busted for, being filthy degenerates. These perverts almost always have skeletons in their closet. When Comicsgate got off the ground, the professional douchebags in mainstream comics absolutely panicked when Richard Meyer, your boy Zach at the Sunny D Factory, Diversity in Comics, your favorite network and firewall engineer, came on the scene and said, "Hey, these comics are racist and sexist. Why are you asshats writing this garbage?" He never got an answer, but they did attack him and his family, his multiple ex-wives and many, many ex-children for over 2 years, including threatening violence to his children, and some of them wished that he was attacked by terrorists in the Middle East. And no one in mainstream comics stood up and said, "Hey, this guy may be a total ass clown, but saying that we wish he stepped on a landmine, that might be going a bit too far. I'm gonna disavow this statement." Or saying, we should dox his children, or we know they go to school. I'm going to have to stand with Mr. Myers on this one and recommend that he call the FBI because we don't want these people in mainstream comics. Children and your spouses, those are off limits to normal people. But SJWs, they're deeply, deeply disturbed individuals. They're just on a different, their rules of engagement are different. When Renfamous doxed a donor, a woman who donated to Myers' GoFundMe for his legal fees for suing Mark Waid for defamation and tortious interference. Renfamous doxed this woman who donated a large amount of money, doxed her all over Twitter, and she broadcast it to her followers, who then called and harassed this woman at home and at her job. Obviously, the intent is to get her fired to cause fear and intimidation. Anyway, when you call out their behavior and shine a light on them, they say, hey, you guys really seem to hate people of European descent. I'm not going to buy this racist twat wash. In fact, I'm going to make videos about how bad they are. It's the first time that these fart sniffers were ever given honest feedback. I want you to imagine Mark Waid, Gail Simone, Dan Slott, C.B. Cebulski, all naked oil wrestling. No, that wasn't a segue. I just thought it was funny. Sorry. I think some of their panic might be because when Myers started pointing out how bad their stuff was, how racist it was, they feared maybe the higher-ups would look at them and realize that the writers and editors were the problem, not the market. The SJWs would rather be big fish in a small pond than making more money if they had less influence. Let me put it this way. If you offered a lot of them a few $1,000s for their blue check marks, they would not accept it, even those of them who really, really need it. Having the blue check mark and the audience on Twitter means a lot to them. I get the feeling these SJWs in comics were telling the executives that the market was bad, which was true, but it was bad because Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, and all the rest are controlled by SJWs. Then there was a two-part combo that shook them up a little bit. The first was Meyer. He made some claims, but the second and much more important hit to their egos was Jawbreaker, Ironside, Cyberfrog, Lone Star, Red Rooster, Graveyard Shift, Bigfoot Bill, Earthworm, Art Thilbert's Black and White, and all the rest of the Comicsgate crowd's books. This was evidence that there was a market for non-SJW books. In fact, people would pay a premium. Say a $4 comic is 22 pages, so $12 would be 66 pages. That was Cyberfrog's length. They paid $25 plus maybe $10 for shipping. Cough, cough. Cyberfrog was supposed to be 88 pages, but I guess some of the pages got lost in the mail. Actually, if I'm being honest, if I have $35 to spend, I'm going to pick the project with the biggest page count, all things being equal. I want value for my dollar. When I see something that looks good and has 100 pages, I get excited. So the executives started to smell a rat. Marvel, DC, and Image sales suck. So how are Comicsgate books doing so well? It must be a mystery. Well, those guys are Nazis. You don't want us to sell to them, do you? There are over 100,000 people in Comicsgate. Why would they want to alienate that audience is beyond me. I get the feeling that Marvel and DC just gets overlooked. Maybe the executives know that to turn the comics around, you would need to fire all the writers and editors. I don't know why they don't do this. Maybe they think that the writers have such big names with a lot of goodwill attached to those names. Maybe they don't know what giant jerks people like Mark Waid really are. Of course, the lawsuit has to have woken a few of them up. Or maybe they're as big as SJWs as the writers. The globalists hire other globalists. Who knows? Maybe they're okay with the way things are going. Up until social media, if people wanted to talk about films, they had to do it on chat boards. Before the internet, films and film reviews were done by a small incestuous group. There was an us versus them mentality. Maybe that's too strong, but giving feedback on a film could really only be done by word of mouth. All the power was in the film companies, reviewers, and the newspapers, and that was the way they liked it. They produced and the customer consumed. Now everyone and their mom is on Facebook and Twitter. It made it possible for word about media to move around the world in minutes. If a movie was junk, you can always count on the audience to give you an honest report. Look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores for woke films versus the audience scores. It instantly tells you that professional reviews are far less shills. Think about the potential for corruption. I'm not really accusing Rotten Tomatoes of being corrupt. I mean, they probably are, but it's not like it's a secret or anything. I kind of feel that corruption only counts when it's hidden, so I guess that lets the Clintons off the hook. Okay, I'm going to have to do this quickly because you're going to, I don't know, throw your phone across the room when you see this. This is what it looks like. This is a little old lady on the cover of a pile of bodies. She has a spear in one hand, and she has a sword in the other covered in blood. Yes, that is a little old lady, your grandmother's age. I didn't draw this myself, guys. Great colors, great scene. You got a Conan character with skulls and, just classical Northern European, Norse mythology kind of thing. And I don't know, just kind of European fighting wars. It's great. It looks good. Skulls and big dudes on horses, and I like it. And then you've got a chick with a sword in a bikini, which is good, definitely good. Kicking ass and taking names. all right. I mean, usually guys and soldiers are usually like the big blonde dude in the background. I like that she's in bikini though, and this big muscular dude that she's, effortlessly cutting open. But whatever. I think that she is reimagining her childhood or something, or her youth or something like this. Okay. Father and daughter, and guide maybe go up to the woods. Horse smells a bear. If you've ever seen a bear in the woods, you know what it's like to need to change your shorts. Giant grizzly bear. Fair enough. Cool action scene. Bear bites the dude, which realistically, the bear bit you in your neck, you're dead. It's gonna rip your head off. His daughter jumps in the scene with a sword to fight the 2,000-pound bear. I don't know if that other guy is a guide or his son or what, but the daughter, who weighs 100 pounds, grabs her sword and decides to do battle with the bear. Thankfully, Hilda Nennek from the north here, who's also 120 pounds and 5'4", grabs a hand axe that she has. Though later on you'll see she's also carrying a spear, and usually you'd use the longer distance tool first rather than the short distance, but whatever. Why let logic get in the way of the narrative? I mean, that's cool. It's a comic book. I get it. So this 120-pound septuagenarian with a little axe attacks a 1,000-kilogram bear, and the bear effortlessly bitch slaps her because that's what bears do. She wants the bear to kill him. The daughter says, "Father, I can help this lady out because I've got a long sword that will, probably kill the bear, probably kill yourself too." And he says, "Hold, this isn't our fight, not yet. That doesn't make sense. You were attacked by the bear. You're laying injured, though now you're laying on your back like a total bitch. And I don't know where your son is. Probably changing his tampon because that's how men are treated in comics. This little old lady came to save you with her axe and spear, and you're not letting your daughter help in the rescue." A little weird, but I mean, it just makes you more of a weaker character. But since you're a man in a comic book, that's completely acceptable. Okay, 100-pound lady with a spear effortlessly kills the bear. 2,000-pound bear with her spear, no problem. Transfixes the bear. I guess it's not my day to die. The daughter and the old lady are talking. Because men in this universe, which is I don't know, maybe it could be Europe 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, it could be anywhere 1,000 years ago, where there were actual patriarchies for biological reasons. The men are just completely ineffectual. Okay, he got bit in the neck by a bear, but now he's fine because why not? She's dreaming of her youth, where she used to be a great warrior, I guess. Okay. 100 pounds. They are coming to her cabin out in the woods to ask her for help in fighting dudes like this, who looks like he's about 250 pounds of D-ball and DECA and human growth hormone. And she's admittedly a fit Ronda Rousey, maybe 140 pounds, very, very fit, but clearly this dude has 100 pounds on her, and he's in a much better costume. That goes a long way. But whatever, it's comics, and women are known to join battles because they're not at home and being pregnant and that kind of thing. This is the ending scene I wanted to show you, coming December 4th, which I'll be sure to check it out. Just kidding. I've forgotten this comic as soon as I'm done with it. Of course, she's a lesbian, because you didn't see that coming, guys. She's a lesbian, and it's not even a good kind of lesbian where it's like an adult comic and there's going to be adult scenes. I really, really doubt it. It's the bad kind of lesbian where they're just, I don't know, lesbian bed death, where they just talk all the time about, I don't know, whatever it is they talk about. Okay, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Click the links to send me your art. I really like to see what you guys do. Join the Discord or send me an email. Follow me on Twitter, because I have a feeling I'm not going to be long for Twitter, or support the channel any way you wish. All right, guys, I will see you next episode.